All right, Congressman Blackburn, just first of all, obviously you've been a congressman a long time. Why are you applying for the job to be the senator, move up to the next rank?
You know, I am really looking forward to it. When you talk about Shelby County and West Tennessee, and many of those counties I have represented through the years, Fayette County, Hardeman County, Hardin, McNairy, and being able to represent all the counties in the state, to me, this is really, really exciting. And when you talk about the things that the job encompasses, you talk about the general economic climate in the state, and that's one of the top focuses when I'm out talking with Tennesseans. They want to make certain that we keep tax cuts, that we keep the jobs growth going, the economic growth. Our state is booming, and we want to keep it that way.
You've done a lot in the House in your 8 terms. Are
Yeah.
there any priorities, should you get elected, that you would be excited to tackle in the Senate that
You better believe it.
that you may not be able to now? What are some things you'd be excited to tackle in the Senate?
Well, I'm going to continue with my push to reduce federal spending and to push for a balanced budget amendment. You know, our state has a balanced budget requirement, and our governor and our state general assembly cannot adjourn until they have delivered a balanced budget. And I think the federal government ought to have to do the same thing and get this spending under control, get government right-sized. As Donald Trump would say, drain the swamp. And we need to continue that. That's been one of my focuses the entire time that I have been in Congress. Of course, everybody knows I'm so committed to expanding rural broadband and making certain that our rural communities have access to high-speed internet. And you just can't have 21st century healthcare, economic development, or education without access to high-speed internet. So I will continue that work to close that digital divide. I hear a lot from people. They know I've authored the legislation that puts in place a cross-state line purchase of health insurance. And with the Affordable Care Act having priced so many people out of the health insurance marketplace, making it very difficult for them. I hear a good bit from people. They will say, you keep that up because we need to be able to provide for our families, to buy insurance we can afford that really suits the needs of our family. We'll be working on that too.
And this is the most expensive race in history. Both sides, a lot of outside money.
Sure.
How have you been able to sort of try to stay positive, talk about issues when there's so much negative ads from outside groups?
Yeah, you know, we said from the get-go we were going to run positive ads, things about me, my background, accomplishments, and then we were going to run contrast ads, which would show where my opponent is on an issue and where I'm on an issue, and keep that focused on issues that are important to Tennesseans. We have done that, and people have really responded so well to that message. Now, you do have all these outside groups that you cannot talk to them, communicate with them, have anything to do with them. You have no idea what they are going to say, and I jokingly say that I flip on the TV or turn on the radio and I learn things about my supposed self every single day. So you have to just realize it's, you know, it is a part of it. Might not like it, but it's the way it works.
If you win, you'll be the first woman U.S. Senator in Tennessee history.
When I win.
When you win.
When I win.
When that happens, what does that mean in your mind mean to you, thinking about the state history and what historical milestone?
You know, I have been breaking barriers for women since I was 19 years old. And without realizing what I was doing, broke a barrier that was a significant barrier, and changed the way a company worked with women and opened doors for women. And every time I break a barrier, whether it has been in the nonprofit world or the business world or the public service, I think this is wonderful. This is another hurdle that is knocked down, and this is going to open a pathway for women to come behind me to excel and achieve. And I many times think about it through the eyes of my daughter and her generation. They will never know some of the obstacles or the discrimination or diminishment or condescension or harassment that my generation has known. And it's because some of us have been very persistent in breaking those barriers the right way so that it did clear the path for others to follow behind us.
President Trump coming Sunday night to Chattanooga.
Yes.
In your view, does that tell you that the race is still close, or he's just kind of giving you that final push you need? How do you interpret that 2 days from election day, him coming?
Right. To have the president come back into the state the final week of the election is just so welcome. I've invited him every time I talk to him. I say, you know, they love you in Tennessee, and we sure would like to have you back. And I was so pleased when I heard he was going to do this election week swing and visit some of us in our districts and states. That is just so welcome. And my understanding is that he is going to be in Georgia in the afternoon, Florida in the morning, Georgia in the afternoon, and Tennessee in the evening. So we welcome him, and we look forward to having him here to energize voters and make certain that on November 6th, they're at the polls.
And that'll be, in your view, a key push for you.
It is going to be great. It is going to be very welcome. Yes.
Where do you see this race 6 days out?
We see it in a good spot. 6 days out, we know that we've got a solid ground game. We're knocking doors and making phone calls and voter contacts, and we are continuing. I'm working 18, 20-hour days, which is what I ought to be doing at this time. And we are not leaving any hand untouched. We've had a tremendous ground game and just so many volunteers that are out working with us and making these contacts to their friends, their circle of friends, and making certain that they get to the polls.
All right. Courtney, you want to do a quick two-shot real quick? I told you I'd be quick. Thank you, Marsha.
You're welcome.
Appreciate the one-on-one.
Thank you for coming out.
Of course, of course. So, when you're with your family, what are some things that you do to kind of wind down? Do you?
Oh, I cook. I love to garden. I love to cook. Our grandsons, my husband and I do this thing, Pop and Marshy's Book and Sports Club. And we don't do toys. We focus on education and enrichment. So every month we go to a bookstore and they choose a book for their library. And then we go to a sports store, and their favorite one is a place called Play It Again Sports. And they pick out one piece of sports equipment that they need. So, you know, that's